Today I'm going to be replacing my case fans with the Corsair iCUE Link QX120 RGB fans. Holy smokes, is that a mouthful. First things first, let's get the side panel off so I can get my old fans out. Nice. Ugh, look how dirty this thing is. Enough of that, let's shut this thing down and get to work. Oh, you thought that was bad. It's about to get a whole lot worse. Tear off that front panel. This bad boy hasn't been cleaned in months, and Bitwit would take one look at this and instantly run away. Alright, this isn't a Temu advertisement. I'm not sponsored by this screwdriver kit, but it's actually pretty nice and I recommend it. It's in the description. Okay, it is finally time to actually start unscrewing these fans. Just like I screwed your mom. Okay, let me create an infinite paradox and just delete what I just said. Mom, holy crap, I'm alive. Where were we? Oh yeah, that's right, this cable management. Holy shrimp, I didn't realize how bad it got. I think it might give the greatest technician that's ever lived a run for his money. Okay, now we gotta remove the elephant in the room, being the 4 screws holding my radiator on the case. Hey, you gotta make sure to hold it. Ah, that sounded expensive. Don't worry, it didn't actually break anything. Hey, looks like you're missing a screw there. Nope, not that one. There you go. Time to start ripping all these useless cables out, because with the Corsair iCUE Link system, you literally only need 1 per chain. Now we can remove the fans from the radiator so we can clean the radiator. Hopefully I didn't shiver your timbers too hard with that one. Anyway, let's look at this filthy PC that would make Linus Tech Tip's skin crawl before we clean it. Before I get too ahead of myself with my ADHD, here's the case fans that we'll be putting in my case. I'll be installing 6 of these Corsair QX120 fans, which each come with their own Link hub, which is pretty nice. To clean my PC, I have to take it outside, or rather on my enclosed porch. You can see it's quite cold outside.
Yeah, I do not want this thing out here longer than it needs to be because of condensation.
Okay, I'm gonna mute that to spare your ears from the noise of my electric duster. And as you can see, all of that dust flying free. I'm glad that's not inside my house, but rather on my enclosed porch. It's free real estate. Here's that filter from earlier, getting all of its nasty dust cleaned off of it. With all the major dust removed from the PC, I can go in with my microfiber towel and just clean everything up, all the nooks and crannies and things. If you're worried about ESD or electrostatic discharge damaging my components, I would highly recommend watching Linus Tech Tips video along with Electroboom, where they go into more detail about ESD really not being a huge threat. Still, I like to keep my microfiber away from the components as much as I can, not touching the PCB with the towel. The towel is also really good at getting in the fan grills and in the radiator to make sure it's completely dust free. It also makes your PC look nice and fresh as well. Another thing to note when you're scrubbing the radiator, just be super careful that you don't bend any of the fins. If you do, you can bend them back with a thin screwdriver or razor blade. No big deal. Okay, let's unbox the fans. Just one of the packages so you don't get bored with me unboxing 2 of the same thing. I really like this packaging because it kind of reminds me of the RTX 40 series GPU boxes. It's kind of cool. Gotta give them that signature test spin. Oh, would you look at that? They're already daisy chained together. And they use 0 wires to be linked together. And to separate them, you quite literally just pull them apart like Legos. Pretty sure Lee & Lee's been doing this for a little while. It's cool to see Corsair jumping on the train. And here's the iCUE Link control box, which is going to connect all of our fans together and power them. I'm pretty sure you can have up to 6 fans on one controller, so it's pretty cool. Going further into the box, we can see that we were given 2 link cables, 1 short and 1 long. The short ones so you can have 2 fans at the top and 1 at the side, or vice versa if you want to separate 1 fan from the chain. They also give you a set of blanks to block off the link cable ports that you're not using, and some fan screws, which we really don't need because you can reuse the old ones. You also get some double-sided tape so you can stick the iCUE Link hub to the back of your case, preferably on the inside. Here's the power cord that powers the iCUE hub by using a 6-pin PCIe connector, and the USB connector that connects the hub to your motherboard so you can control the RGB by using the iCUE Link software. Not sponsored at all. When you're installing case fans, most case fan manufacturers will print the fan rotation and airflow direction on the side of the fans. This is very important when setting up your intake and exhaust fans. These fans will be my intake, and the fans in the back and inside the case will be my exhaust. General rule of thumb is to have an equal amount of intake and exhaust fans. And let's watch Idiot Me from the past install the fans on the radiator before removing the plastic film covering the logos on the back. And right here is where I realized
that there's plastic on the backs of these, so I'm going to take these fans out again to remove them. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Where's that? Yeah. Did not want those to become an oopy goopy mess over time. Genuinely just forgot where I put the fans. I gotta love ADHD.
Okay, when you're installing a 240mm radiator like me, we're going to use the short iCUE link connector to link all 3 fans together. The final cable will go out the back and into the nest of cables behind the PC that we don't like to talk about. Now let's finally get the radiator back up in the case. I know this seems a little counterintuitive installing the radiator before installing the back fan, but I assure you there's enough room in the case to where doing either or first doesn't really matter. Now let's install the rear fan. Now this fan can be tricky sometimes to install, so it helps to pre-screw one of the holes in the fan so that when you go and put the fan in the case, you can reuse that same hole, and the threads are already tapped in the plastic, so it makes it easier to put the fan up so you're not struggling with it. Here's how the PC looks right now. I did install the back fan at the bottommost position, not only to optimize airflow, but to optimize aesthetics as well. Pro tip, make sure you plug in the link connector to the already installed fans so you don't have to fiddle your fingers in a tight space. I guess that's why they call me the greatest technician that's ever lived, because I did not do that. Okay, now we're going to route the link cable that we talked about earlier that's going to go into the forbidden mess of wires. It was at this point that I realized I had to remove one of the radiator fans to install the link cable because it slightly interferes with the radiator hose. You thought this was just going to be a simple video installing fans. Don't worry, I did as well. Only so much editing magic can save me from my untimely demise. And finally, the happy little graham cracker that is myself has successfully installed the link cable on the back of the fan. And after all that fiddling, it's time to put the front fans in and fiddle some more. Actually, this was the easiest set of fans to install. I just wanted to get the hardest ones out of the way. And honestly, I kind of like this system a lot better than having to deal with 2 cables per fan, and now it's just one cable coming from the set of fans. Pretty nice. Here's a mild jump scare to the owner's manual of these fans. It's pretty useful considering they don't give you a physical copy, because I guess everybody just has a smartphone now. But to power the hub, it uses a 6-pin PCIe connector, which I had to dig out of the mess of power supply cables that are inside my computer case. To control the RGB and fan speed, there is a micro USB cable that goes into the hub, and on the opposite side of that same cable, you'll have your USB 2 header connector, which plugs into the USB 2 header on your motherboard. And now it's time for the moment of truth. My motherboard LED is illuminated, indicating that I didn't break anything just yet. And let's see what happens when we press the power button. Did I break it? Oh god. Linus Tech Tips, Linus Tech Tips, Linus Tech Tips.
Martina, get out of the shot!
Oh hey, there we go. And there you have it. But don't you dare click away just yet. There's some cool stuff I want to show you. And now with both the panels on, I can show you my favorite feature about these fans. This feature is called Time Warp, and it basically replicates what happens when you record an Apache attack helicopter with a crappy Android phone camera. As you can see, it looks like the fans are spinning really slow, when in reality they're spinning at about 1000 to 2000 RPM. You can make the fans spin clockwise, counterclockwise, or make them dead stop to confuse people into thinking your computer is broken. If you would like to support me and appease the YouTube algorithm, feel free to smash that subscribe button and like this video like it's 2015 all over again. If you want to see more of my computer shenanigans, here's a video on screen for you to watch now. You gonna click it yet?